because I need a haircut, I'm going to put a hat on. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, girl, hey. So, I was in here about to make me a homemade tomato basil. Tomato basil soup. But I can't concentrate and do this. I know, Nikidra, it's 9:03. My mother was on the phone running her mouth. Hey, girl, hey, what's up, Kiana from over there in Philly? I think I'm going to move y'all on this side because I need to be over that way. But my mother was on the phone talking, running her jibs. And so before I knew it, it was time to come on. But hey, girl, hey. I am here. Cornelia, you know there's a decorum when you come here. It's hey, girl, hey, not hey. Hey, girl, hey. That's right. It's hey, girl, hey. Oh, shit. I'm going to do it right in this pan right here. I'm about to make me a dish. You guys won't be able to see it because you're up a little high. But you will be able to hear me burning up in here. And I mean that figuratively. I had a few things that I wanted to talk about this evening. Hey, girl, hey. My mom is good. She's good. Thank you for asking, Barrett. I made some black beans last night. A black bean burger. It was pretty good. I still have some perfecting to do. So today I'm gonna do a tofu scramble. It's tofu and spinach and a spicy orange sauce. I'll show it to you when it's done. I got too much going on over here. Let me focus for a second. Let me focus. But I have a couple things I wanted to talk about. The first thing I wanted to talk about was Angela Rye. Did you see the thing that I posted earlier today about Angela Rye? She was letting white folks have it today on CNN, or yesterday on CNN. Your president wants a thank you from that black family out there in California. If you guys aren't up on your current events, let me bring you up to speed. So there was some young guys who were over in China, and they got locked up. They got arrested. And your president called over to China, to the president of China, and he asked him to release these young boys. Right? That pan is hot. She ready to go. So they released these young boys. They came back to the States. And so your president feels like he should be given a thank you from the family. And so Angela Rye was letting them have it yesterday on CNN because she said he seems to only have problems with black people, black families, black athletes. Like, why does the family need to give him an apology? Like, who says that? What president asks for a thank you? Like, presidents do that that's called diplomacy. So you mean to tell me former presidents expect a thank you as well? Like, how narcissistic is that? Like, why would you expect this family to call you and say, thank you for having our son released? Angela Rye let them people have it. When this video is over, scroll down, because it's like probably the last thing that I posted or the time before that. But it's like the last couple things I posted. I be trying to bring you up to current events and shit, if you ain't up on it. But when I tell you she let them have it, she let them have it. No, they weren't ready for her. They were not ready for her. I'm about to get my tofu together down here. Let me get a little sea salt. You hear me sprinkling and shit? Let me get my little pepper. So what I was going to tell you also is one of my mom's closest friends, my mom called me yesterday and told me that one of her closest friends has an aneurysm. And it's small. It's really small. But nonetheless, it's an aneurysm. And so, of course, naturally, she's nervous. You know, she's probably in her 50s. And so she's nervous and, you know, anxious. And was going to have a weight loss surgery. She was going to get a sleeve. And so when they found out, you know, that she had this aneurysm, they canceled that surgery. And so I sent her a text today to let her know that I was thinking about her and that I had her in my prayers and in my thoughts. But I also said to her in the text that this is your body speaking to you. This is your body talking to you. Your body is telling you. So even though it's really small, this is your body communicating to you that you need to take better care, right? So I said to her in the text, this may be a seminal moment for you because this may be an opportunity for you to really take control of your life and of your health. And I'm sharing this with you guys because there may be somebody in here that's going through something similar. They may be going through some sort of a health crisis. I'm going to share one other story real quick before I finish that, before I say what I was going to say about that. I went to college with a girl, and her dad had gone to the doctors, and they told him that they had to put him on insulin because he was diabetic. He was going to be diabetic. Well, the day after that doctor's appointment, he started walking 4 miles a day. He started walking in his neighborhood 4 miles a day. By the time he went back to the doctor, they told him they didn't even see traces of diabetes in his system. That he wasn't going to have to be on the medication. My friend said to her father, how did you do that? Like, how did you just get so disciplined to just start walking? He said, what you mean? You want to live, don't you? And for some of us, it is just that simple. But some other people need a scare like that. And the reality is, I said to her, my mom's friend in the text, I said to her today in the text, you know, this is an opportunity for you to take control of your life and of your health and release all of those things that you can't control. And so while she was on course to have this sleeve done so she could lose weight, maybe this is God, the universe, trying to tell her, no, you can take control of your health yourself. Because the thing is, you can get this sleeve, but if you don't change your diet, what's the point? What's the point? So what I'm saying to you all, and I'm not at all trying to proselytize you. Just because I've been not eating meat for 3 months, you know how a bitch gets saved and all of a sudden, you know, she want everybody to get saved. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that just because I came off the meat that you should come off the meat. You have to listen to your body. You have to trust your body. What I am saying to you is, you know, you laying in the bed right now with a Snicker bar or some salt and vinegar potato chips. You sitting over there with a whatchamacallit. Y'all remember those candy bars of whatchamacallit? You sitting over there with some corn curls and Doritos and shit, knowing you woke up this morning with Cheetos and hot fries. You ain't even had no dinner. You ain't even had no breakfast. And you eating Krispy Kreme donuts or Dunkin' Donuts. You drinking coffee and shit first thing in the morning. Or you can't get your day started without some coffee. What I'm saying to you is eventually, Gail, sit down now. We had already did Hey Girl Hey. Sit down. I'm just playing, Gail. Have a seat. But there are no seats down here on the floor. Go into the overflow. You know your body's speaking to you. Right. Right, Derek. You over there with all them Doritos and shit in the closet, eating pork skins up there in Baltimore. I know y'all eating them pork rinds and shit. What I'm saying to you is, there comes a time when you have to change the way that you eat. You can't eat like that forever. You see people walking around here limping and shit, gout, joints and shit aching. Your body's been telling you this stuff. What I'm telling you is, I've only been off the meat for 3 months. But before I came off the meat, and I've been working out since I was 22 years old. And I'm 41 now. But what I'm saying to you is, even as a person that was working out, I got some fresh spinach. I told y'all the trick about spinach, right? Didn't I tell you about the trick? You put paper towel underneath it and on top of it, and it keeps it from wilting. It doesn't go, it doesn't wilt. That's how you preserve it. So anyway, I'm sauteing some fresh spinach. Amen. I'm sauteing some fresh spinach. But anyway, even as a person that was working out, that's been working out since I was 22, I would be really stiff. I'd be really stiff in the morning. Like, literally, like before I came off the meat, my body would be so stiff, and I just ascribed it to me working out. I thought my body was stiff because, oh yeah, I'm definitely putting some garlic on here. It's not a game. Thank you, though, for the reminder. Garlic powder, not salt. Garlic powder. See, some of y'all don't reach for the garlic salt. Put that salt up. Put that salt on. You wondering why your ankles and shit swelling up. You wondering why you can't take your shoes off and get them back on without your ankles swelling up. Huh? Get up off that salt. And then you drinking soda and shit all day. Pop. Some of you guys call it pop. You drinking pop. You don't drink nobody's water. And them little things that you put in your water to flavor it, them little drop-ins, that shit ain't good for you either. Oh, I know. Y'all buy it from the dollar store. Y'all buy them little drop-ins from the dollar store. I know. Trust me, I know all them bad habits. What I'm telling you is, my body used to be really stiff. And I would wake up in the morning, body so stiff, and I would say, okay, I'm going to have to start stretching in the morning. I really thought it was because I was working out. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was because I was just still stiff from my workout. Well, come to find out, I come up off that meat. My black ass just jump out the bed. I jump out the bed, I be ready to go. I don't have to stretch. My joints and shit aren't aching. Because see, chicken has a lot of causes. Chicken causes a lot of inflammation in your joints and shit. So if your shit aching and you don't know why, I'm telling you why. This is God speaking to you through me. I'm not saying I'm God. I'm saying I'm speaking to you. He's speaking to you through me. Now, you done already been to the doctor. They done already told you what you need to do. And you still eating hot fries. You still eating now laters and shit. You ain't had no vegetable in forever. Oh, wait, where's my sauce? Let me get my sauce. You know what I'm saying? Y'all eating Hershey bars, white covered popcorn, white cheddar popcorn. Y'all eating white cheddar popcorn and shit. What I'm saying to you is, don't wait till your body alarms you. Your body alarms you by saying, okay, you got high blood pressure now. Your body alarms you when you're getting these migraine headaches sometimes, not all the time. Your body is alarming you when you get gout. Your body is alarming you when you get a stroke, or you have a mild stroke, or whatever. So back to my mom's girlfriend. She has this small aneurysm. But an aneurysm is an aneurysm. I don't give a damn how small it is. So I said to her today in the text, this is an opportunity for you to change. This is an opportunity for you to change your trajectory. You know what I'm saying? And either you do or you don't. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, we find money to spend. We spend money on whatever we care to spend it on. And what I'm saying to you is, if she's really concerned about our health, Get you a personal trainer. Because this is life or death now. Get you a personal trainer. Hire a nutritionist. Hire a nutritionist. Oh, well, can't nobody, I can hear you now. Can't nobody afford no nutritionist. You afford to get your hair done every week. You afford to carry them purses, them expensive ass purses. You afford to get Starbucks every morning. You afford to eat lunch every day. Cut back on that lunch that Cut back on that lunch. Stop buying lunch every day. That's what you do. You don't hear me? Y'all ain't picking up what I'm putting down. No, y'all picking up what I'm putting down. Y'all just don't want to hear it. My point is, don't wait till it's too late. But see, it's not too late for her. See, she still has an opportunity. She still has an opportunity. And so the question is, what do you want to do? You want to live or not? You either want to live or you don't. There is no, let me tell you, I stopped eating. I'm sorry, I'm trying to situate because I'm about to sit down and eat my healthy meal. I am, hold on. Let me get something. I got my spring water. High blood pressure runs on my mom's side of the family. Ain't nothing like a nice bottle of spring water. And you better be careful with that purified water. Be careful with that purified water. I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back and up there in the overflow. Be careful with that purified water. All y'all doing is drinking ginger ale and Pepsis. Y'all better put that shit down. I stopped eating. I became really conscious of my health when I was, Dr. Rhonda, you have your whole family watching me? But here's the question. Do you have them buying my book? Amen. Have them listening to my podcast. Now the podcast is free. So I did like a sauteed spinach with the orange spice sauce on it and a tofu. Now I just came from the gym, so this is straight protein. And after I finish this, see, I just made this so I could talk to y'all. But I'm gonna make something else because I got something else over here. Listen. Oh yeah, it's real cozy. It's real cozy. Yeah, you better put that Pepsi down. Put that Pepsi down. Because that ain't nothing but syrup and sugar. But here's what I'm trying to tell you. Get you a nice bottle of City Punch. Ain't nothing wrong with City Punch. That was good. I realized that I think this is a firm tofu. I'll look at it in a second. I got to come up out this hood now. I done got hot. Hold on. One more. Yeah, put that soda and shit down for real. And listen, try to stop drinking the coffee. Like you drinking this coffee every morning. Ain't nothing wrong with ginger ale, but if you drinking the ginger ale that ain't nothing but syrup, then there's a problem. Now, there are certain ginger ales that are better for you. What's that one called? I think it's called Red Rock. Is it called Red Rock? And is that processed or do I make it all? See, I like to make mine myself. Because, see, that should be processed. I can't be eating a whole bunch of processed stuff. My point is, I'm 41. I can't be eating that trash. I'm going to find the ginger ale. But the point that I was making was, I realized in my 20s that high blood pressure was running in my family, on my mom's side of the family. So I became clear then that I didn't want to have high blood pressure. And then on my dad's side of the family, it appeared that prostate cancer was running in the family because my paternal grandfather had prostate cancer. Was it prostate or pancreatic? Whichever the case, I didn't want either one. Yes, I'm 41. If I shave this down, I give a good 29. I couldn't resist, sorry. But it was either, I think it was prostate cancer on my dad's side. But anyway, my paternal grandfather was diagnosed with it. He had the surgery. He didn't die from it. He was fine. My father got diagnosed with it as well. Had the surgery, was fine. I ain't trying to get diagnosed with that shit. So when I found that out, that was when I cut the beef out. Because beef is supposed to be a leading cause of prostate cancer. I used to do a colon cleanser years ago. I used to buy it from GNC. It was like a fiber, but that shit was too thick. Like you would stir, it was just too thick. But it's important. So like what I did was I cut the beef out. So like years ago when I was eating meat still, I would do ground turkey. I would not use ground beef for my spaghetti or for my lasagna or my hamburgers. I always use ground turkey. Good evening. Now have a seat, Aaron. Show him upstairs. He think he about to sit down. Now that empty seat is only there because somebody went to the restroom. He needs to go upstairs. Listen, I understand he's saying hello and everything, but he needs to take his polite ass upstairs. He's 25 minutes late. You know damn well ain't no empty seats down here. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Right, Aaron, sit down. Making me forget what I was saying. He just wanted y'all to see his new shoes, that's all. We see your new shoes. So I cut the beef out back years ago. And every blue moon I might have a steak, right? But I had cut the pork out because pork is high in sodium, right? So the only thing I was really eating was chicken. And turkey. I was eating chicken and turkey. Poultry, basically. He talking about I'm not used to being upstairs. Well, you going upstairs tonight. I don't care nothing about where he used to sit. And he better carry his spoiled ass upstairs. He need to get here on time. He want to pay extra to sit downstairs? Oh, okay, he can come. I think there's a seat over here. He got extra. Get his money. He can sit down here. There is a seat down here. We got things to do over here. Oh, I was trying to look up the ginger ale for you. I forgot that quick. See, I get distracted when y'all come in here late and shit. Anyway, so I cut those things back. I was trying to take preventative measures then. Like I said, it's only been 3 months since I've been off the meat. And I'm not saying to you that you got to come off the meat. All I'm saying to you is, if you know you eating dirty, more times than not, it's a problem. Same for you always eating this fried shit. Every time you eat something, you got to be frying chicken or frying fish or cut that out. Stop eating Red Rock ginger ale. Stop. Here's Red Rock. Stop eating all your shit fried and then wondering why you got cholesterol problems. This is the ginger ale that I drink when I drink ginger ale. And that should have burned your damn chest open. But it's good. Right, eating cheesesteak subs. Like, come on now. You can't be eating like that all the time. And then you wondering why you diabetic. You wondering why you having renal failure. Kidney failure. And you wondering why you on dialysis. Cut it out. Stop playing yourself. You know better. Look at Bianca. She always trying to let us know that she ain't eating no beef and pork. Girl, we got it. Okay. Oh, God. Yeah, Red Rock. They got Red Rock right in Walmart. They got them in the grocery stores. It's called Red Rock Golden Ginger Ale. And it's made with real ginger. So I'm just giving you this as an option, like if you love soda and you have, or pop, however you call it, You know what I'm saying? This is not, but you can't drink that shit every day, like literally. I've never really been a soda person or pop person. I've always been a juice person. And when I say juice, I'm not talking about Sunny Delight and Hawaiian Punch. See, y'all like that ghetto juice. Don't feel bad, excuse me, Tamika. You have to lean towards better. What I'm saying, and then look at Michael. He talking about he late because he jumping off the MARTA train. Ginger is good for your tummy. I'm going to tell you an option, and you don't have to do the soda. I'm going to tell you what I do. I have a friend. She loves when I do like a ginger tea. I boil the actual ginger root. I'll buy the ginger root. I'll wash it really good under the sink. Like I might take, like I just bought a vegetable brush. I'm going to show you. You know, you just buy like a little brush from like Target. Nothing special. You just get your little brush from the dollar store or Walmart or somewhere. And you scrape your veggies. So you know I juice every morning. So I got this so I can scrape off, like not scrape, but I can, you know, under the water I wash and brush my celery, my apples, because that's where the pesticide is. It's on the skin. So I do that. I wash the cucumber. And then I get the blended and shit, right? But my point is, I will take fresh ginger root and I will wash it off. I'll dice it a little bit. I'll put that shit in a pot of water and boil it. And in the wintertime, oh, baby. Now, that's one tea. And you don't have to put anything in it. You don't have to put, like, you could put a little agave in it, which is a natural sweetener. Or if you want to put sugar, fine. I usually put agave or honey in mine. And that's it. It's good for your digestion. And it keeps colds away. I ain't had a cold in probably 4 years. I might get a little sniffle or something, but, you know. But also, I'll take the ginger. I'll boil it. You boil it long enough until the water turns. The water will tint. The water will tint like slightly. It won't be dark as like a tea, but it will tint. You know how like chamomile tea kind of like, chamomile tea is pretty like clear, but it does tint like a little bit the water. That's how ginger will do. But you slice it open so that the actual ginger root will be exposed, like you can smell it. And you drop that in the water, boil that shit. And then in the summertime, I strain it, because, you know, sometimes the ginger gets in the water. I strain it, and I make iced tea. Put the agave in there, stir it up, let it sweeten. And you know you gotta put it in there while it's hot so it can sweeten. Even though agave is a liquid, stir it up, put that bitch in the refrigerator, and you got some ginger tea, iced tea. I got a homegirl that comes up here. She be like, "You got any ginger tea?" I'm like, "Girl, no, I ain't made none. Can you not come up here looking for my ginger tea all the time?" But it's phenomenal. So like I'll do that. You got to find other ways to do shit. Like I told you guys the other day about Mauby. Mauby, M-A-U-B-Y. It's a West Indian drink. It's a tree bark. And you boil it like you do the ginger root. And you strain it and they put other shit in it. You know, same thing with sorrel. You can find alternatives to soda. The only reason you so addicted to it, or we get so addicted to the shit, is because we're accustomed to it. It's because we grew up eating it. That's all we know. But there are other things out there for you to eat that you can fall in love with. So that's that. So my point in saying this is, just lean towards better. I'm not saying you gotta, you know, go cold turkey and do the shit tomorrow. Maybe I'll have some Mauby. Oh, okay, and that, yeah, and I think Puerto Ricans may call it Mauby, but West Indians call it Mauby, M-A-U-B-Y, but it's pretty much the same thing. No, you ain't addicted to Pepsi. Cut that out, Naima. Maybe I'll make some Mauby for the December 7th for the book launch. My mom's friend didn't respond to my text. So when I was coming in the house, I was talking to my mom on the phone. And I said, I texted her earlier today, but she never responded. I said, but maybe she just didn't, maybe she just wasn't, you know, like if you're going through something, maybe you just don't want to respond. You may not want to talk. You may just want to take it in. You're still processing. And my mom was like, oh, no, she got it. She said, she got it. Because I called her. And I talked to her. I hadn't told my mother that I had sent it to her until I was talking to her coming in the house. Why do I have 2 bottled waters out? I got 2 bottled waters out. That's okay. I'm going to drink them both. Look at that. But she said, no, she got it. She said she was going to call you and thank you because she needs all of the prayers she can get. And she, you know, she really appreciated your message. So yeah, she got it. But the other thing is I take my vitamins every day. Now I know some of you probably thinking, no, I didn't gather her. I would read you the text I'm on my phone, so I can't read it to you. But I know some of you probably thinking, oh, I use multivitamins. Look at Saria. Is it Saria or Saria? Whatever it is, she late. She come to here 9:35 talking about, hey girl, hey. Don't answer her. Just look at her. We're gonna wait until she goes sit down. Upstairs. Unless she got some extra money and we can find her a seat downstairs. Don't say nothing to her, just let her. Just look at her. She got the nerve to be waving high as she go past. If she don't go sit down, she's stopping at the coat check. She don't have no extra money. She need to go upstairs. We're waiting for her to sit down. And I'm going to write you up for letting her in here. Because I told you yesterday in the meeting not to let people come in. When they come in here after 9:20, the doors are locked. And she didn't have no money to pay extra to come in here. Excuse me, she on a fixed income. I don't care nothing about her kids' basketball game. I'm just playing. What was I saying? I don't even know what I'm saying. See, I get thrown off. I guess we're going to go ahead and end for the night because I don't even remember what I was saying. Multivitamins. See? Multivitamins. I keep forgetting. Okay, so I know some of you probably are thinking, well, I take a multivitamin. That's great, but it's better when you take the individual vitamins. So like it's better if you take a A, it's better if you take a B, a C, a D, because when you do the multivitamins, you're not getting all of the variety because it's just a little bit of each. So I take them individually. So I do a C, I do a B12, a C, a D3, and I do an E. Speaking of an E vitamin, if you do the gel caps, you break that open, rinse your face off, put a little bit of that gel on your face. Ooh, now that's some good treatment for your skin. Now she's still apologizing. Saria or Saria, well, Miss Johnson, have a seat. She's still apologizing. Apologize with some offering. Make an offering. We got a building fund. make a donation to the building fund. And Victoria, don't you worry about my EBT. She all talking about my EBT. My EBT been gone. Thanksgiving coming up in 2 days. So listen, I was thinking, do I really need to do it live on Thanksgiving? Because y'all can be with y'all family. Now, I'm not coming on here to talk to myself. So it'd be a really good idea if you get you some vitamins too. But individual, I prefer to use individual. So like I said, I do A, B, C, D, E, and I take them. Oh, and I do, where my vitamins? Oh, and I do this magnesium. I told y'all about the magnesium. I do the magnesium too because it helps with nerve support, muscle and heart function. So yeah, I use that. Okay, so Thanksgiving. Look at Tanika talking about Thanksgiving. So Darren says I can. So Barrett is saying I need to come on here Thanksgiving. Tanika saying I need to come Thanksgiving. Darren is saying no, go ahead and take the day off. I'm not coming on here, be on here live, and y'all not even sitting in here. That's how you do when somebody make you mad. You roll your eyes at them. But yeah, just think about your health. Like seriously, you gotta think about your health because you're not always gonna be spry and being able to zip around. Valerie, I didn't say I did a B12 shot. I said I did a B12 vitamin. I ain't getting no shot. Somebody always got to go left with the. That's how rumors get started. They should be walking around telling people that I get injections and shit. I ain't said nothing about no shot. Communication is our partner. Clarity is our friend. Valerie, was that Valerie that said that? Who was that said that about the beat? Yeah, Valerie. Oh, hold on. We had a little technical difficulty. Hold the line. Look at them. They still talking about coming on here Thanksgiving. So I actually may be going over to T.S. Madison's for Thanksgiving. She invited me for Thanksgiving dinner, so I may be over there. We'll see. Because see, she lives behind God's back. No, not you, Valerie. It's another Valerie in here. And it's so interesting because I had a conversation with my cousin the other day and I was telling him, well, he knows that I don't eat meat anymore. And he's just so ready to rebuttal. He's just like, well, and that you need energy, start going to work out. Do you work out? Start working out. Let me come back to that, Tanika. Let me come back to that because I had to let DT have it, him and Louise, the one that was doing co-check yesterday. But my cousin was like, I just don't understand, like, what, you need the protein from the meat. That's not true. And I've said this before. Excuse me. I know Kaya's going to be over there at T.S. Madison's, and I'm trying to decide if I want to go over there and be, because, they eat grease and stuff. And see, I'm not trying to go over there and eat. I'm going to have to pack a lunch. I'm going to have to eat over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to take my own shit. But anyway, my cousin was just like, well, listen, you need the meat, though, for the protein. No, you don't. Because the thing is, if you think about all these cancers that are popping up now, yes, you can get it from the plants. Valerie Taylor, that was you talking about a B12 shot. Y'all watch her. She's alive. She lies, she'll steal. Watch her. Don't let the offering plate go past her. Watch her. So, again, it's just really, we just get so accustomed to it. Like, we believe that we have to have this meat. Just like black folks believe in all that nonsense that they tell y'all in church. Some of that stuff is just nonsense. Some of that stuff ain't got nothing to do with God. I'm here to tell you. So me, DT, and Tiffany, that's whose house we were at yesterday. We're supposed to do seafood tomorrow for Thanksgiving. I know, I was thinking about, let me come back to T.S. Madison in a second because y'all still talking about that. So we were supposed to have Thanksgiving tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow, you know what I'm saying. Okay, so we're going to meet tomorrow. Okay, so LaTanya Miles and I are going to meet tomorrow. I'll come to that in a second. I was just going to say, should we meet at 10:30? Girl, I might be just waking up at 10 o'clock. No, we can do 10 o'clock. So we were supposed to do Thanksgiving on Thursday over here. We were going to do seafood. So we made this fabulous list, me and my friend Angela. We were thinking about mussels. We were thinking about scallops. We were thinking about shrimp. We were thinking about crab legs and some fish. And, of course, some vegetables and that kind of thing. So remember yesterday, DT was like, well, no, I'm not going to come. I'm just going to stay home. So then today he comes. See, this is why he's schizophrenic. Tanya, we're going to meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. for breakfast. I'm going to bring them along for the meeting. We got some planning and stuff we got to do for the event on December 7th. So I'm meeting her for breakfast tomorrow because she's going to be helping me. That's going to be part of my security at the door. So if y'all haven't done that Eventbrite for the December 7th event, you think you're going to slide through the door. I promise you're not. So anyway, DT says yesterday, well, I don't really want to do Thanksgiving. I'm just going to stay home, da-da-da. Then today I wake up and here's a text message from him as if he didn't just tell us yesterday he didn't want to be a part of it. He talking about, hello, everybody. I just wanted to say that I'm interested in participating in the Friendsgiving. Friendsgiving, I think is what he called it. And I'm going to be doing fish, and I'm going to bring a bottle. Now, you know, I sent him one old nasty text message back. And I was just like, this is why he makes me sick. So Tiffany replies to the text and says, okay, well, let's have a conference call tonight. So I'm driving home from the gym. They didn't call while I was at the gym. I missed the call. I called them back on my drive home. So they got me on speakerphone. Got a little food down here. So Terrence is all, oh yeah, so I'm going to do 2 different types of fish and I'm going to do a bottle. Here you go, Tiffany. Well, I was going to bring a crab cluster. Now, if you know anything about king crab legs or even snow crab legs, a cluster ain't nothing but a cluster with like 4 legs. Well, yeah, I was going to bring, she said I was going to bring a pound. I was going to bring a pound and I was going to bring some corn. I said, girl, well, what you think you're going to do with that? Is that supposed to go around? Well, I was thinking that we could all bring our own clusters because they're kind of expensive. So I was just, I'm sitting there looking at the phone like, this bitch has lost her mind. Well, I was thinking, this is her talking. Well, I was thinking, and she's a teacher. Well, I was thinking that we could all bring our own cluster because they kind of expensive. So if we all bring our own cluster and, you know, we just do some corn and like you could do another side and, you know, everybody could bring a side. I said, bring a cluster. I said, what kind of bootleg ass, budget ass Thanksgiving are you talking about? I said, first of all, I'm going to want to eat more than one time. I'm proposing that I said, okay, maybe the crab clusters are too expensive for one person to take that on. What I'm saying is either one person can say, okay, I'll buy some clusters and I'll do maybe shrimp. And then somebody else can say, okay, I'll do some clusters as well and I'll do some scallops. Because my friend Angela was talking about doing mussels and maybe doing scallops. And I've already, remember I went to the grocery store the other day and wore out my food stamp card. I think it's over here melted on the table. I already bought shrimp. I got sweet potatoes and I got red potatoes. I got green beans. Like I got everything. So I was just like, well, we need to have a few things. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, when you're sitting around and you having drinks and you're going to want a second plate. And, you know, seafood is not filling, just like Chinese food ain't filling. You know what I'm saying? Like you might get full in the moment while you eating, but like with seafood, like I can eat shrimp all day long. So then I said to her, well, bitch, if we gonna all bring a cluster, I mean, what? You may as well stay home. Like what's the point of that? So we all gonna come over here and eat a cluster and some corn? I said, I don't even eat corn because corn ain't even that digestible. That's another thing. I stopped eating corn too. If I eat it a little, here and there, that's fine. But I don't go out of my way with corn either because that shit doesn't digest. You ever took a shit and you see the corn still whole? You still see the kernels in your shit? There you have it. So I said, well, girl, no, that ain't going to work. I said, because if you think you're going to come over here with a cluster for yourself and you think you're going to be dipping in the shrimp and everything else is there, I said, no, that's not going to happen. I said, so you might need to either stay home or decide to choose something else because a cluster ain't going to work. She said, well, I said, I don't know. I said, there's several seafoods that you can choose from. I said, so, maybe you could do, my thing is like, you need to choose something that's going to spread around. A cluster. So then here she go. Well, I just think I'm going to stay. And then I said to her, I said, well, what kind of bottle you going to bring? Because see, then if you talking about bringing a bottle of vodka, then you asking me to supply the chasers. So I'm supposed to do the shrimp, supply all of the veggies, and do the chasers, and provide the ambiance. Oh, I said we could have it at my house. I didn't say I was doing Thanksgiving. So then she says, well, I was going to bring a bottle of champagne, but I just think I'm going to stay home because I don't eat all of that other stuff. She told me she don't eat mussels. I said, well, girl, you know what? How about we don't even do it? I said, because see, yesterday, Terrence was saying he didn't want to do it. Now, today, he called and talking about he wants to do it. Now, you talking about you don't want to do it because you just want to bring a cluster. I said, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Because I can go over to T.S. Madison's house. Or I can drive out to my nephew's house and sit up there with my mama now. That's an hour drive, but I could just go on up there. Exactly. Corn don't digest. I'm telling you, take a peek at your shit after you get up, after you eat some corn. It's sitting right there. It's sitting there like, hey. It's giving, hey, girl, hey. The corn's sitting in the toilet like, hey, girl, hey. Hey, girl, hey. I don't know. I just told her to stay home. And then you want me to cook the stuff? Oh, And see, she came over here one day for a podcast. And so at the time, I used to do 2 podcasts a day, right? So I could be ahead of the game. So she came for the first podcast. So I gave myself like a 2-hour window after so that by the time the next group came for the next podcast, I'd be ready. She's sitting over here on the couch. I had the nerve to bring her boyfriend. They sitting over here on the couch. They done went through my bar. She's like, well, I think I'm going to get enough drink. Baby, you want another? I said, no, you've had enough, and so has he. We are not here for a happy hour. You came here for a podcast. We're done taping. Thank you for coming. Good night. Girl, you have overstayed your welcome. She didn't turn this. I said, girl, because my next group is coming in a minute. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you. Thank you, Tanika, for ordering the books tonight off of Amazon. I said I was going to come back to something you asked me. What did you ask me about earlier? There's too many comments in here now for me to scroll through to find it. You asked me something earlier, and I said I was going to come back. Right, Valerie. Then they all got to come and eat and see. So I said, what, you want us to eat one plate and be done? Well, I'm not going to be really hungry. This is her. Well, I'm not going to really be hungry. I'm only going to just want the crab legs and some corn. I said, well, girl, I'm going to want to eat more than one time. And I said, and the reality is this. Once you have a couple cocktails, you be ready to eat again. You know how you have a couple cocktails and that alcohol, get the food, get the soaking up the alcohol, and then you ready to eat again? Yeah, so I said, girl, yeah, I can't do this budget-ass Thanksgiving with you. Sorry. Darren, you started reading the book today? What did you think? You started reading Words Never Spoken? But yes, I just told her to stay her ass home. I'm not even doing it. Not even doing the Thanksgiving. Thanks. It's people that come in here. Look. Look at Shanrita. Hold on, Trina. Look at Shanrita. No, I told him, you're not about to eat up my EBT card. I said I had to get my supply for the month. It was bad enough they gave me my disbursement later in the month. I'm supposed to get my money on the 7th. On the 7th of the month, I'm wide awake. I'm ready to go grocery shopping. I got my $200 sunglasses on. I'm going to the stores. I'm in the stores ready to swipe my EBT card. So I'm like, no, you can't use it. Shanrita late. Oh, she came from the gym. She was working out. All right. Give Shanrita a hand. See, we do welcome people who work out and take their health and fitness seriously. I talked about this the other day on the Black Hair podcast. The doors were locked. Don't worry, he can be frying fish in the morning. I told him not to open the door after that other girl came in here, Saria. But you know, some of y'all don't even won't even go work out because you don't want to mess your hair up because you didn't got your hair done. No, I had more than 181 on my card, Thelma. I get about 200. I get about 200 on my card. Look at Shannon Reed telling me she needs my stamps. Girl, I don't get enough to share now. I don't get enough food stamps to be sharing. I got enough for me and my family. I have enough for me and my household. You know, this veggies and shit that I'm buying, that shit is expensive. Well, no, the veggies aren't expensive, but it's the shit. It's the fixings. Well, it ain't even, no, it's not even really expensive. It's just that you eat more. And so you end up cooking more, right? Who was that talking about I'm late again? Hicko Shakika. She can't ever just come in here quietly. Then she gotta come in here with them loud ass dress shoes on. She don't have no sneakers in the car she can change into. God. All that damn clanking around in here. I'm grateful for my food stamps. Do you hear me? I was a wreck at the beginning of the month when my money didn't hit my card. Then look at Ray Mellon here enticing y'all. Look at Ray Mellon here enticing y'all with all that cheesecake and shit. Now, see, I just told y'all about y'all. Look, see, I just told y'all about all this bad diet and stuff. And see, now he in here enticing y'all. Hey, Miss Kathy. Who's Miss Kathy? I can't see her comments. I don't know if her privacy settings are such that I can't see her comments. You know, if you have privacy settings where it's restricted, I'm not going to be able to see your comments because you have it such that the other people can't see it. You know what I'm saying? You know how sometimes you put your privacy settings so that your coworkers can't see your shit or your employer or whatever. And I eat kale all the time. Let me tell you about this kale that I made. Let me show you something. First and foremost, I use kale every time. Ewing said he glad I'm home tonight. Adrian. Is it Adrian or Adrene? Is it Adrian or Adrene? I use kale as a base for my smoothies. You know I do a smoothie every morning. So I always use spinach and kale. That's always in there. Today I did spinach and kale. I did cucumber. I did apple. I did strawberry, mango, peach, pineapple. There was something else in there. Oh, I did celery. And I blend it all up nicely. I have a pea protein that I use. It's a pea protein. And speaking of protein, you got to be careful with the soy. You got to be careful with the soy protein. Like tofu is soy protein. Now, I don't eat that shit a lot. Because see, with men especially, soy protein will it will function like estrogen. And so you'll end up getting man boobs. And you don't want that. Right, so I always use spinach and kale in my smoothie. And then I put all of the other stuff that I said. But sometimes I do different things, because sometimes I have ginger root and I'll put a piece of ginger root in there, blend that up in there. Sometimes I'll do a lemon in there. I just do different things. But here's the thing. I bought a big old bag of kale. Let me tell you, I shit 3 times a day. I shit 3 times a day. I don't know what y'all talking about. I shit 3 times a day. And this is the other thing I was going to say earlier, and I forgot. But see, that reminded me. Before I switched over to being vegan, before I turned 41, like 3 months before my 41st birthday, I went on Groupon. I told you I swear by Groupon. And I found some colonics on there. It was a package of colonics. It was 3 colonics. And I did 3 colonics before my 41st birthday. Because you got to get up in that intestine and get all that shit up. Literally. Get all that shit up out of there. That's blocked up all on your walls and shit. And get all of that flushed out of there. Because I didn't want no problems. And see, you got all that stuff backed up in your colon. See, that's how that cancer gets down there in that colon. That old bacteria and old ass meat and shit that ain't came through because it got locked up on the walls. Okay, so the kale. So I buy a big old bag of kale. And I use some of it for my smoothies. I cook with some of it. So the other day I made me a meal. I don't remember what it was now. What did I have? I don't remember what it was. But I chopped up my kale, right? No, Tanya, I don't talk about any of this in the books. The first 2 books are about my life in general. And then the third book, the one that's coming out now, it's called So Much to Say, but it's a book of quotes. So they're quotes that relate to encouragement, wisdom quotes, and relationship quotes. But no, I don't talk about it in the books. But maybe one day I will do a book like that. But so I diced up the kale the other day, right? I took a red onion, diced half of it. I diced half of the red onion. I took a garlic clove, right? I pressed it, diced it up. I took some olive oil. Remember that big old thing of olive oil that my aunt gave me when I was home? So it's good to do a colonic. It really is. I put the olive oil in the pan, get it nice and hot. I dropped the cut up red onion in there. I put the garlic clove that I diced up in there. Get it smelling really good. Sprinkle a little black pepper in there. Not powder pepper. Not ground pepper, but the actual pepper. Let me show you. See, I buy the restaurant pepper. See, I get the big old container. So these are the ones with it's like the ground peppercorns, right? So see the texture? Can you see the texture? So I put some of that in the pan. And it gets to smelling real good and shit, right? And then I take that kale and I drop it in that pan. Move it around. The kale start to shrink. Now listen, you're not putting a whole lot of oil in the pan, okay? You're putting probably 3 tablespoons, right, in the pan. Enough so that when it expands, it covers the bottom of the pan, but not drowning the kale. You're not sauteing spinach, so it's not like that. It's just enough in there to really, get that kale nice and good. And then you take this girl right here, liquid aminos. This is like a natural salt. It has no preservatives, it's gluten-free, it's non-GMO. You take just a couple squirts. Now don't go drowning it. 1, 2, 3. And again, the fragrance is just going to waft through your house. You saute it some more, and you take that girl out of the pan. When I tell you, right, all of my seasonings are this size. My Old Bay, my garlic powder. I don't use garlic salt. I use garlic powder. I have onion powder, All of my shit is big like this. And that's just a really good. So I do the sauteed kale. Good night, Raymel. I do the sauteed kale. I'll do spinach. Like I just do, you know what I mean? I just like to do fresh shit like that. That's how I do mine. But you do what you want over at your house. Okay? You do what you want. But as for me and my household, what's Patisse? Is that a brand? What is that? Look at Tracy. Now she's a whole. Tracy is a whole hour and 4 minutes late. Here you go, Crystal. It's by Bragg's, Liquid Aminos. But this is good on all of your veggies. Now this is good on all of your sauteed veggies. Again, it is cheaper to buy because you know I have a Sam's Club membership. This in Sam's Club is probably like $5 like $6. Now you know them little ass things in the grocery store be $3 and $4. So like this will last me forever. This is good on fish. Yes, like and that's the other thing. Like I pan sear my fish. Oh, no worries, Tracy. But have a seat, okay? You need to sit upstairs because there are no seats upstairs. I know you one of the day ones. You've been here since the beginning. But girl, it ain't no seats down here. Go ahead upstairs. But yeah, I pan sear my fish. You can get it from Whole Foods, but they probably gonna charge your arm and a leg. You know, Whole Foods, they just be adding, you know, they be marking shit up just because they can. I got this at I got this in Kroger. I don't know if you have Kroger where you are. But I just got it in the regular grocery store. And I think it's like $3 or something like that. But here's the other thing I do. Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Now I do a shot of this. Yeah. They have it at Walmart too. Yes, they have it at Walmart. Yes, they do have it at Walmart. You're right. So I wouldn't even go on Whole Foods for that because they're going to charge you just because. Now this right here, I just got back on this today. Okay? Now, before I stopped eating the meat, for like probably the past 3 years. For the past 3 years, I would do this, right? Now this is supposed to help control belly fat, but that's not why I did it. I was taking this because it's a good way to cleanse your colon, right? It's not going to send you to the bathroom like a Metamucil. It's not going to do that. It's, hey, Dale, you use this to wash your hair. Yeah, I've heard that. I heard it's good to wash your hair. I'm going to tell you how you do it. Yes, you can do a shot in the morning. You can do a shot. Now, it's really, really tart. So this is how I do it. I take 2 tablespoons. Yes, I did some today. Now, this is what you do before you eat anything. Before you eat anything, this is what you start with. So it's a detox. So it'll help you use your bathroom. It'll help you use the bathroom. Again, it's not going to send you to the bathroom right away. It's not like that. Yeah, it's really strong to try to drink it plain. That's how I did it today because I didn't have everything else that I usually do with it. But this is what I do. I take 2 tablespoons. I take a half a bottle of water. So about 8 ounces of water. You don't have to use bottled water. I use a half a bottle of water. 2 tablespoons of the apple cider vinegar. Bragg's. I can't speak for nobody else's. I take a half of a lemon. Squeeze the lemon in there. I have cheated and used the actual lemon juice that you buy. I'll usually just do like a couple squirts of that in there. And then I usually do some honey. Now the honey, I usually just squirt enough to like layer the bottom of the glass, layer the bottom of the mug. I use a coffee mug. Not a lot, because it ain't supposed to taste like fucking syrup. But just enough to knock off the bitterness here, right? After you do it a couple times, you'll know how much honey to put in there. Just kind of do it to taste. So it's a half a bottle of water, 2 tablespoons of this, half of a lemon if you buy lemons, or you can use a little splash of lemon juice, like you buy the lemon juice or the little lemon, and then some honey. Put it in the microwave. Now, you're only putting it in the microwave for about 20 seconds. It's not supposed to be hot. You're just trying to soften the honey a little bit, right? Because once it comes out of there, you want to stir it and drink it. Now, you're supposed to be able to drink it. If it's too hot to drink, then you put it in there for too goddamn long. Just put it in there for about 20 seconds. And then just stir it up, and then you drink it. Remember, you do that before you put anything on your stomach. Not a banana, not a Tic Tac, not a piece of gum. That's the first thing you do in the morning. It will curb your appetite for a little bit, right? When I wake up, I'm usually ravenous. Like, I'm usually ready to eat something. So this will help belly fat. It helps move your bowels. Again, it's not going to send you straight to the bathroom. See, somebody said their belly went down. And so, yeah, so it's good for that. It helps, with your processing your stuff. So I do that every morning. Like I said, I just got back onto it today. But I've been doing it for the past 3 years. Was there something else I was going to tell you? But yes, I've heard people washing their hair with it. I don't know what the benefits are in washing your hair. I don't know the benefits of that. But yeah, but I have heard people saying that they wash their hair in it. Well, my friend Angela used some vinegar to bring back her natural coil, because she used to press her hair, like not perm it, but press it. And she mixed this with some other, it wasn't flour, but it was some sort of a flour substance, and she mixed like water with it and this, and then she put that in her hair, and that's supposed to bring back your natural coil. So that's what she did for a while. I don't have the ingredients for that, but I know that's what she was doing. See, somebody else said they lost 13 pounds doing it. So there are natural ways that you can do shit. So speaking of coconut oil, oh, okay, so somebody said it cleans your hair better and it's good for acne. So speaking of coconut oil, did I show you? Let me go get my coconut. So I started doing what they call an oil pull, where you gargle with coconut oil. So I got this at Trader Joe's, organic virgin coconut oil. And this was like $5. And it's the consistency of like Crisco. So what I do is I take a teaspoon. I have it in my bathroom. I keep it in my bathroom. So I remember to do it every time I brush my teeth. So like tonight when I go to bed, before I go to bed, I'm going to brush my teeth. I have not been drinking. I've been drinking Deer Park spring water. I'm going to floss and brush my teeth and my tongue. I'm going to take a teaspoon. I'm going to put it in my mouth. Let it melt down. It melts down really quickly. And then you swish it around. You just gargle with it. Not like, not that. You just swishing it around in your mouth. I've been told, and you can Google it, it's good for cavities, preventing cavities. It whitens your teeth. And it's supposed to pull impurities from your body. So I just started doing this. I've only been doing it now for like 2 days. But I actually have a couple of friends. They were like, oh, yeah, I've been doing that. Oil pulling. Yes, that's what it's called. And so, so that's what I've been doing. So, Good luck. But I also gargle with peroxide to keep down infection and that kind of shit. I don't want nothing coming in my mouth. That didn't sound right. Nothing coming in my mouth. You knew what I meant. Y'all so filthy. I think I'm all talked out for the evening. It's 10:15. I've done my hour and change. I've shared a few things with you. It was all related to health and taking care of yourself, all because of my mom's good friend. Say a prayer for her tonight, please, if you remember, if you think about it. I'm pretty certain she'll be fine. But, you know, it's just important to... Yes, Tracy, you told me you had a dream about brushing your teeth because I say this every night. That's a good thing, though. I'm glad that you guys think about it. Charles called me. Kwamina called me at like 4 o'clock this morning on FaceTime. Now, you know I was dead to the world. I saw it when I woke up this morning. And I'm like, what the hell was he... What did she call me for? I mean, what did he call me for? Cornelia, she has a small aneurysm. And she has a small aneurysm. And so she was a little, you know, a little nervous, like anybody would be. They're telling her that they think she'll be fine. And they're telling her to watch her diet, stay away from salty foods. And the same shit that I'm sitting here telling you. So it's like, don't get to that point where a doctor has to tell you that. That's what I'm saying. Of course, enjoy your life. Eat great things. Enjoy food. You know, I've enjoyed food for the first 41 years of my life. And so I've just decided, I don't know if I'm going to go 41 years not eating meat. I don't know that. All I know is right now, I feel amazing not eating the meat. And again, if you're not going to eat meat, really, really do your research because you really have to eat food that has protein in it. Kale is a superfood, so you're good with eating kale. But I eat a lot of beans to make up for it. I eat a lot of almonds and, you know, shit like that. Like you gotta have something to supplement. But so you can't just be going around thinking you're gonna eat green beans and corn. So you can't do that. But what I'm saying to you is I feel amazing from it. But I've eaten meat. I've enjoyed meat for the first 41 years of my life. I'm good with meat, at least for now. So again, I'm not saying don't ever eat fried food because, you know, I fucked that catfish up, that fried cat. I don't eat eggs anymore. I don't eat eggs. I used to eat Greek yogurt. I don't eat that because it's high in protein. I don't eat that anymore. I've been stopped drinking milk. But when I was drinking milk, I was drinking 2%. But I've been stopped drinking that. And now it's just kind of an adventure for me. It's just like an adventure. Like I'm just trying to find plant-based meals that I really, really enjoy. So I'm in here cooking and experimenting. And so when I get off of here, I'm going to go over here and make my... I'm going to make a homemade tomato basil soup. I'm going to do that. And then I got a whole bunch of different little recipes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try that tonight. So, you know, I just find different things that I really like. So I just find... So it's interesting and exciting for me right now. But I'm just on a quest to find things that are really, really good. Like I've almost perfected that spicy kale wrap. You know, that kale wrap that I be eating on here. Annette, I think you said, I think from your name, I think you're Latina. Well, here's the reality. I see you said you're lactose, no dairy. Here's the reality. 80% of black people are lactose intolerant. And I think it's like 70%. I can't remember the number for Hispanic people, but I think like 70-some% of Asian people are lactose intolerant. Most people are. We ain't supposed to be drinking that shit. You know. So really for me, this is just about me trying to reprogram myself from the things, you know what I'm saying? Like your parents taught you that. Taught us that. how to eating all that processed ass meat. Like y'all going to the lunch meat counter and getting them slicing off that boar's head. That shit is processed. It's processed. All of it is processed. And so my point is the majority of most people, the majority of humanity is lactose intolerant. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm just on this little adventure now. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Because, I didn't deprive myself of anything. I've enjoyed meat. I've enjoyed fried lobster tail. I've lived. I used to fuck up the ribs over at Houston's restaurant. I don't know if y'all got Houston's wherever you are, but I used to fuck up them slow cooked ribs. But I mean, listen, I've had my time. I've had my day in the sun. And so, I'm okay without it. Yeah, it gets boring after a while, but it is what it is. Listen, let me tell you something. Not only are there things, first of all, there's blood in the milk, and they have to pasteurize it to get that shit out of there. Okay? And when you're talking about these meats and things, sometimes those animals have cysts. You know how sometimes people will get a cyst or a boil? Well, they get it too. And they ain't cutting that shit out of there. They ain't cutting it off. They butchering these animals and that shit gets cut up and it goes right, the pus and everything goes in the package of the meat right with y'all. And I just saw an article just the other day. It was I don't know if it was a piece of pork. I think about it was either a piece of pork or a piece of beef. And it had, oh girl, you can give up bacon if you want to, Cornelia. This piece of meat had cancer in it. And they showed how they just cut the cancer out and they still packaged the meat. Where they do that at? When you know better, do better. That was Maya Angelou that said that. But that's not always true. Because we often know better and we don't always do better. So, my thing is, I'm just, you picking up what I'm putting down, Nikki? They picking up what I'm putting down too. They just trying to act like they want to be in denial. They want to be in denial, but that's okay. Somebody said to me, a friend of mine said to me, oh, it's just so, Cornelia, like you, oh, it's just so hard to just give up bacon. Oh, it's just so hard to give up meat. Oh, okay. Is it harder to give up meat or is it harder to do chemo? Which one you want to do? Crystal picking it up too. So which is harder, chemo or giving up meat? And I'm not saying you got to give up meat. What I'm saying is you got to watch your intake because chicken causes a lot of inflammation. You can look that up. Now, if you got joint problems and shit and your joints and shit aching when you wake up or your shit just aching because you walked up a flight of steps and you don't know why, I'm telling you why. So what I'm saying is if you're not going to give it up, cut back on that shit. You can't eat that shit all the time. Yeah, they slaughter them animals. They ain't checking for no disease and stuff. They slaughtering the animal. Remember that mad cow went around years ago? And that's why they sued Oprah. Because she fucked up the beef industry. Because, see, she got y'all panicking because that mad cow, but she was telling y'all the truth. But see how they tried to sue her? Because she had devastated that industry? It's the same difference. They're not going to tell you that shit. Because if they told y'all all of this, then you're not going to buy chicken. Then you're not going to buy beef. And then what's going to happen to those industries? Exactly. Chemo is no joke. So it's just like, which one is harder? Giving up meat or living through chemo? You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful. You just got to be careful. And again, I'm not trying to proselytize you because I ate meat for 41 years and enjoyed it. But what I'm saying is once I started to really pay attention and started watching these documentaries, because I didn't just watch What the Health. I watched another one. There was another one that I watched too. It's on Netflix. I can't think of what it's called. I can't think of what it's called. I can't think of what it's called. But, you know, and that's how I learned about the Greek yogurt and all of that shit. That Greek yogurt is tied to a lot of cancers. Yogurt. Yeah, that organic meat. Because first of all, you don't even know if the shit is really organic. And when I buy my fish now, I primarily try to buy wild caught. Because that farm raised shit, they wore them out. They wore that farm raised fish out. Let me tell you something. They talked about how you really got to be on your job. Like if you're farm raising fish, like somebody's really farming these, somebody's really, you know, breeding, for lack of a better word, breeding these fish. Just like people breed dogs. People are farm raised fish means somebody is actually taking care of these fish. They're feeding them. They're supposed to clean the water. They're supposed to change the water. They're supposed to treat the water to make sure there's no disease. They don't always do that. And so in this documentary, they were talking about how there was disease and shit in the water and shit in the fish because they weren't treating the water and changing the water the way they were supposed to. And y'all buying that farm raised shit. I try to buy wild caught. Now, I done already told you about tilapia. That shit is genetically made. You know how you see shit that says non-GMO? GMO stands for genetically modified. Tilapia is genetically modified. That's not real. I stopped eating that shit a year ago when I found that out. I don't fuck with tilapia. But see, y'all buy tilapia because it's cheap. Okay, you're paying on the cheap end. You're spending less money on this end, but you're gonna pay more when you hospitalized. You're paying more for your medication, for your prescription. So yeah, you're getting off cheap on this end, but then you end up paying for it in your body and in your wallet later. I don't eat tilapia. I don't eat tilapia. I know it's cheap, but I don't eat it. I've had Soy. My aunt makes that. Yeah, that damn fake ass tilapia. I ain't eating that shit. That shit's so cheap. And you know who they're selling it for. I'm O positive too. My blood type is O positive. It's a beautiful thing to be O positive. We can only receive blood from people that are O positive though. But we can give to anybody. But where the fuck did Soy come from? Because I'm just hearing about this recently, like in the past year. Like my mother and them, they cook that shit all the time. Is that some old new shit that's been created in a lab? Because I don't remember hearing about that 5 years ago. Hell, 3 years ago. DT buys that tilapia. Yeah, y'all saw him buying that mess that day. It was $2 for a bag of fish. $2 for a bag of tilapia. $2 for a bag? $2 didn't even cover the cost of the fishermen going out there to get it. That's how you know that shit is fake. But yeah. Was there something else I wanted to talk? Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Soy is not good either. Oh, see. It's not real fish. See. I thought I had my suspicions about that soy. Okay, so let me ask you this. We're going to switch gears. We're switching gears. Let me ask y'all last few questions about that. Because I know y'all still talking about. He brings a yellow tail. Yellow tail is good. Let me let y'all switch gears. Oh, it's sway. Well, you know them ghetto folk in Baltimore, they call it sway. They're like sway. Well, wait a minute. How does Sway spell his name? Sway in the morning on the radio. Doesn't he spell his S-W-A-I? Let me see. No, he spells it S-W-A-Y, doesn't he? Sway. Oh, yeah. He spells it S-W-A-Y. Okay, can we move to the next subject? I gotta get up and make the rest of my food. I'm hungry. That little spinach and tofu ain't did shit for me. It knocked the hunger off, but now I'm getting hungry again. Y'all ready for the next topic? Can we move on to the next topic? I got a couple more minutes. It's at 10:30. We're at 10:30. What's buffalo fish? I ain't never heard of no buffalo fish. See, listen. I ain't never heard of no buffalo fish. Okay. So you know how all of these people, all of these men, Charlie Rose, Kevin Spacey, Weinstein. I don't know if I can really put Bill Cosby in that category because, I mean, he was actually drugging people, drugging women. Who else? Dustin Hoffman. You know how all these men have been called to the carpet lately about all of this sexual harassment. Somebody asked me here earlier, what did I think about vaccines? I don't do vaccines, like them flu vaccines and shit. I'm going to come back to what I was just saying. And then Valerie just said, do we think HIV can be spread through mosquitoes? Girl, if mosquitoes could spread HIV, we'd all have it. We'd all have it. Okay, so you know how all these men are being right. So all of these men are getting. I need a little snack. Hold on. I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry now. So they all are getting charges brought against them for sexually harassing or being too aggressive or whatever. Now, some of the shit is obvious. Like Harvey Weinstein, he would expose himself and jack off. Now, that's obvious. That's sexual harassment. But it had me thinking, with all of this sexual harassment and stuff, George Bush, how do you approach a person now without fear of being thrown in that category? Like, how do you compliment a person or flirt with a person without blurring that line, right? Like, maybe you're just really interested and maybe you're trying to pursue the person and you're flattering them and complimenting them and saying, oh my God, you look really nice today, or your body looks amazing. Like, where's the line? Where's the line, though? Where do you draw the line between flirting and sexual harassment? And my mom and I had this conversation last night. No, it was today. Earlier today. That's what made me think about this. We had the conversation earlier today, and she mentioned Anita Hill. Now, many of you probably remember Anita Hill. Some of you may not. Back in the day, Anita Hill, a black woman, I love a late night snack, but healthy. Back in the day, Anita Hill, a black woman, filed sexual harassment charges against Supreme Court Judge Clarence Thomas. And it was the first of its kind. I mean, and Joy Behar on The View said this a couple weeks ago. She said that Anita Hill literally was the one who opened the door to all of this sexual harassment stuff. Like, she was the one who really gave women permission to stand up and speak out. But if you remember Anita Hill, back in the day, a lot of people didn't believe her. A lot of people thought that she was just trying to get money from this man. She didn't wait. She didn't wait like long like a lot of these women are doing now, like 10, 15. She did that shit months later. She filed a suit soon after it happened. And she basically said that she was working for Clarence Thomas. He was saying and doing inappropriate things. He was groping himself and just all this stuff. But, I mean, it was, I would venture to say, it was probably one of the first cases that we actually saw publicly on television. Like, I remember thinking, you know, most times we think that the O.J. Simpson thing was the first thing that we saw publicly. But I remember that deposition being public. I remember that shit being on the news. I was a kid. I don't remember how old I was. But that woman, she pretty much was, I really would love to know what happened with her after that. I think she's like a law professor somewhere. at a college. But she really was exposed to a lot of scrutiny. She was criticized. Yes. Thank you. See, Arian, that reminded me. I didn't even open up and say good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressors, and dreamers. See, that's why I love you guys. Because you guys are thinkers, thought leaders, progressors, and dreamers. See, Arian, that's exactly what happened. So she was asked about him, about her time working with him when he was being confirmed as a Supreme Court justice. That's exactly what happened. And so she was just she was just answering questions. And she basically said in her answer that he was inappropriate and he had done some things that were not kosher. And, but the public, John Q. Public and Susie Q. Public, criticized her and ridiculed her and they challenged the veracity of her statements. Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. I need to see the movie. But I Googled her recently because either she celebrated a birthday or something happened recently. And I looked her up to see what she was doing now. And I think she's like a professor at a college or something. But anyway, the question that I'm posing to you guys is, how do men approach now? And I don't just mean straight men, I mean gay men too. Because if I think real hard, I probably was a little aggressive before, saying some shit inappropriately, confusing flirting with inappropriateness. You know what I'm saying? So where is the line? Like, what is the line? How do you... Let's start with the women. How does a man approach you? Or the lesbian women too. How does a woman approach you? Or how does a man approach you and it not be offensive? Cornelia said, don't be touching on me when you approach me. And see, that's the question too. Why are the women punished for speaking out? I don't understand why we always jump to the defense or the offense and we doubt that it actually happened. I will never understand that. It's almost like we always we question these women. It's almost like we wonder if they're trying to get some sort of career gain or financial gain. Like, I don't. But what's the difference now between flirting and sexual harassment? I mean, I don't mean like going up to somebody, groping yourself, telling them, hey, what's up? You want some of this dick? Oh, so you need to say, so I need to say, you mind if I pay you a compliment? Can I offer you a compliment? You look really nice in those pants today. Flirting is being extra friendly. But maybe the women took so long to speak up because they know they're going to be attacked. They know they're going to be persecuted. So I understand that to a degree. And sometimes it takes a tribe of women to speak up to give another woman courage. So like in the case of like the Bill Cosby thing, I'm going to tell you, when the first woman came out, I was like, oh, that bitch probably lying. But baby, when they got, oh, so it's crossing the line if I say, oh, you look really good in those pants. So what am I supposed to say? Oh, those are some nice pants. That's what I'm supposed to say? But with the Bill Cosby case, when it got to about the third, fourth, fifth person, I said, oh, bitch, yeah, he did it. Because here's the thing. And I've said this to you guys before. A friend of mine said to me years ago, he said, two people who don't know each other can't tell the same lie. That's why when the whole Eddie Long thing happened, remember when all those little boys, it was like 7 of those little boys. Only 2 or 3 of them knew each other, but it was 7 of them. So the other ones didn't know each other, but their stories were very much similar. Eddie Long, for those of you guys who may not know, he was a pastor of a mega church. here in Atlanta. He just passed away earlier this year or last year. But he was politicking before he died. He used to always talk about the gays, talk about the gays were going to hell. And he would be out here picketing and marching with Bernice King, Martin Luther King's daughter, who the streets also say she's a lesbian. They be out there picketing and shit against gay rights and all this other stuff. Well, come to find out, Eddie Long was playing with these little boys. I've talked about this before on here. Oh, Cornelia said, don't ask me, can you fuck me? Well, what if you gotta, listen, let me come back to that. So Eddie Long was talking about the gays and all this other stuff. And come to find out, here he was molesting these little boys. And when I say little boys, I mean they were under 21. He was married. Now see, those pants really suit you could be crossing the line. That's left up to interpretation. So, several of those boys had the similar stories. They had similar stories. And a friend of mine said to me, two people who don't know each other cannot tell the same lie. I knew that those boys were telling the truth. First of all, I had gotten word through the grapevine back in 2002 that Eddie Long enjoyed the company of a man. So I already knew that. But when I heard that, I said, oh yeah, he did it. Yeah, I didn't understand that either. Why some of the women went back with Bill. I don't know how Eddie Long died, Valerie. Now the streets have been talking. But I don't know. So I won't dare put out what I suspect. But I don't know how he died. But it wasn't a heart attack. So Cornelia said a man can't come up to her and say, well, can I fuck you? Well, what if... Oh, Ashley, you're really reading fast, quickly. The Other Side. I remember that chapter. But like sometimes, when you have a rapport with a person, look at Randall, his mess. He's talking about what I heard was cancer. That's what they call it sometimes. I think y'all picking up what I'm putting down. But what happens when you have somewhat of a rapport with a person? Y'all haven't had sex yet, but y'all have a rapport. And maybe, you may, it might be a little innocent flirt here and there. And, I like a greasy text. I told y'all before, I love a greasy text. I love a nasty text. So I can't say something real filthy in my text message to you? After a while, I don't mean day one. Now, if it's somebody that's working for me now, I'm just not going to cross that line. I'm just not going to cross that line. But I like old nasty text. I like old filthy text. The things I say in a text. I can't even share with y'all some of the stuff I say in the text. Just nasty. But I mean, at what point can you... Yeah, I like a greasy text. Listen. Oh, nasty text. I have a very fertile imagination. So, I had a woman come up to me. Ashley, keep reading. You ain't at this part yet. I had a woman come up to me and she said, baby. She came and whispered in my ear because it was some people around me or around us. And she came up to me. She said, listen, I don't know if you intended for this to be, but as a straight woman, you had my panties wet when I was reading those sex scenes in the book. So you can imagine how greasy my text be. You know what I'm saying? I like old nasty text. And a filthy picture. Now, one thing you're not going to get, though, is a picture of me naked. Now, I might give you a little chest, Something like that. But you ain't about to get no. You picking up what I'm putting down. Yeah, like, so the question is, like, is being upfront too much? Is being upfront crossing the line? I guess so, because if that's the case, then I didn't cross the line. Shit. You know how they were doing these hashtags, Me Too? Shit, I guess somebody was talking about me when they put Me Too. I mean, all I need is a headline. Gay author. Gay author facing charges for sexual harassment. Oh, God, you can't do nothing. So my thing is, then you become really complacent. And then y'all be sitting around talking about, well, why hasn't he texted me yet? Why hasn't he called me? Well, girl, I don't want you to, listen, I don't want you to mix, I don't want you to confuse this. So then the question becomes, do women now have to take the lead? In straight relationships. Valerie, both of the books are greasy. Here, in the first book, it gets real greasy around that chapter that Ashley says she's in, The Other Side. That chapter called The Other Side. That let me share something with you. Because people ask me all the time. They always want to ask like certain questions about the book. Why I name certain chapters, certain things. Every chapter has a specific name, and there's a reason behind every chapter. It was very thoughtful, even in terms of, how I name certain characters. Each character's name really meant something. Like it really, So, thank you, Adrian. Is it Adrian or Adrienne? Look at Carolyn. She talking about she crossed with her supervisor. She crossed the line with her supervisor. Girl, we got to set up a GoFundMe for her because then she can be trying to pay her bills next month because she done got fired because she done there talking greasy to her supervisor. Girl, there's a line of decorum. There is a line of decorum. And she's sitting here telling us that she done crossed the line of decorum. Yes, that Nina was something else. That's a character in the book. Okay, so The Other Side, the chapter that Ashley says she's on, is called The Other Side. The meaning is a double entendre. Okay, Adrian. Okay, gotcha. The chapter is called The Other Side because there used to be a club here in Atlanta called The Other Side. And that's where I met this character, Pharaoh. I don't know if you've come across Pharaoh yet, Ashley. Pharaoh is the very first guy that I ever dated. Oh, Darren, you just got to that chapter too? Okay. So Pharaoh is the first guy that I ever dated. Now, the book opens with me talking about Salim. Salim was the first guy I fell in love with, but he was not the first guy that I dated. The first guy that I dated was Pharaoh. You're about to get introduced to him in that chapter, The Other Side. I met him at this club called The Other Side. I still see him to this day from time to time, and he be sweating your boy. And it's given, no, not interested. But I was very green at the time. I had never dated a guy. I was 22 years old. He was 9 years my senior. He had dated men before. He had lived with guys before. He had experienced heartbreaks before. So he had years up on me. You're going to understand this as you keep reading. I'm not going to tell you everything because I know you're in that chapter. But he had years over me. And so he was trying to move me at a pace that I wasn't willing to move at. But see, I'm a Taurus. And so I dig my feet in the dirt when I feel like I'm being pushed. So I was just like, no, listen, that's not what my spirit is telling me to do now. So like he wanted to spend the night and like he just wanted to do all this shit that I wasn't. I'm not going to spoil it. So he wanted to do all this shit that I want to do. So the chapter's called The Other Side because I met him at this club called The Other Side. But I also called it The Other Side because, like I said, it's a double entendre. The other side for me was me now crossing over to the other side because up to that point, I had only dated women. So I was going to the other side. You know, I was now going into the gay community. I was now venturing into this world, this new world, and I knew nothing about. So that's why that chapter is called The Other Side. I'm not going to tell it. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm going to tell it. That's all I'm going to tell you. The first book is called Words Never Spoken. Oh, look at this. There happened to be one right here. That little fake laugh. That's how people do. Hold on. There's one right here. Okay. This is the first book, Words Never Spoken. And then the sequel is One Thing for Certain, Two Things for Sure. Now that one, they both greasy, because I give some very explicit details about sex. May 4th. I'm May 4th, Charla. No, I wouldn't date a woman today because I'm clear about who I am. I believe that sexuality is instinctive. It's how we're wired. It's not a choice. It's not a decision. It's just a part of who we are. And we have to give permission to be people. We have to give permission to people to be who they are. If we allowed people, men in particular, black men in particular, and Hispanic men, men of color, let me say that. If we gave men of color the option, the freedom to be who they are, we wouldn't have all of this down low stuff. If we didn't use religion to manipulate people in terms of their sexuality, telling them, oh, you just need the faith of a mustard seed to change your sexuality. Child, listen, I can't change my race. I could pray tomorrow and for the rest of my life to wake up as a white person because it's just easier in this country to be a white person. That's never going to happen. Not because the prayer doesn't work, but because you have to adjust to the life that you were given. So like for all these people that's trying to tell folk that you don't have enough faith. You don't believe enough. You gotta, So no, today I would not date a woman. But that's in the book too. Now my last girlfriend was in college. I write about that. And how I broke that woman's heart. Yes, Valerie, you want my third book. I haven't forgotten you. I haven't shipped them yet. I'm waiting for I've already uploaded everything to the printing company. I got the proof from my cousin. He finally did it. So now I'm waiting for the printing company so that they can give me a proof of the actual book before I run the printing. So that's what I have to get now. So that should be coming hopefully tomorrow. I'm praying. Now, Valerie, the new book, the one that you won, it's a book of quotes. It's not a novel like these books. It's not a novel. It's 3 chapters. It's a chapter full of relationship quotes. There's a chapter full of encouragement quotes and a chapter full of wisdom quotes. So that's a beautiful book. I love that book because you can give it to anybody. These books, you can't give this to, your grandmother, okay? Unless she likes greasy stories, okay? You can't give this to the lady down at the church, but you can give the lady the new book because it's a book of quotes. You can give it to a person that's retiring. You can give it to a person that's graduating college, a person that's starting a new career, graduating high school. So the new book is a perfect gift giveaway type book. You know what I mean? I think it's so chic to give a book away to a bitch. For a birthday gift, or a Christmas gift, or a housewarming gift. Give a bitch a book for the coffee table. That's so high society. I can send the book to a prison. Who am I sending the book to in the prison? I can send it to them. You just send me the address. It's so high society to give a bitch a book for a gift or a candle. But not no cheap ass candle. You get a nice old $30, $40 candle and you put it in a nice, and then them $30, $40 candles, they come in a nice box with a ribbon and shit. And then you put, that's so rich white woman. You're like, hey bitch, I got you a candle. Hey, bitch, I got you some books. You put a ribbon on, put a nice little bow on it. This is for your birthday. I just thought this would help you grow. You know, that's how you set that up. I just thought this would help you grow. So, you know, I was just thinking about you because, you know, I know you're trying to improve yourself and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's a gift. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do when you're on a budget too. Books are under $20. So you give a bitch a book. You know, I was just thinking about you guys. You know, no, it's not about the money. I just wanted you guys to have a book. Y'all need to read. Okay, Ashley, that's fine. Yes, we can do that. What Last Girlfriend? Have I seen The Last Girlfriend? Is that a movie? What is that? Y'all love sending me these incomplete ass sentences. Like I'm supposed to. I ain't Dionne Warwick. I can't predict what you talking about. I think I'm Miss Cleo up in here. Y'all remember Miss Cleo? Hey, bitch, here's a beautiful book. Right, ghetto. Hey, bitch, I got you a book. Oh, if your grandmother liked nasty books, listen here. If your grandmother liked nasty books, give her nasty ass these books right here. Oh, yeah, Tanika. Yeah, see, this is perfect. Like the book of quotes is perfect. Quiet as is kept, Tanika. You want to give her this one, too, so she can bob and weave these men that's on the low. You want to grow her. Going away to college. She might be going away to college. Oh, what she asked about what I was in college? What? Oh, no. I haven't seen her. I have not. Listen, I have not seen my last girlfriend since I broke. Well, a few days after I broke it off with her. I haven't seen her since then. I broke it off, and then I kind of like avoided her on campus because I felt so bad. I really felt bad about breaking it off, but I knew that it was better that I break her heart then than to drag it along and have her. Because listen, that woman, she thought that she was already talking about marriage and having kids. Oh, listen. They greasy like Zane and Elin Harris's first books. I was such a fan of Elin Harris's first books. They greasy. But yeah, I felt so bad, and I broke it off with her. But she used to talk about us getting married. She used to talk about us having kids. I knew in school that I was going to be a writer. I didn't know I was going to be writing books and that kind of thing, but I knew that I was a writer. And she's like, yeah, I can just imagine like me calling you saying, hey, I need you, you know, you working at the studio. Because at the time I was just writing music. And I could see me calling you saying, hey, can you bring some Pampers home for the baby? And I was like, wait a minute, she really thinking about this thing. I need to get away from here. I need to let this go. And I knew that I didn't want to be one of those men. Thank you, Charla. I knew that I didn't want to be one of those men that got married knowing I had propensities for men. And see, here's the thing, and I do talk about this in the second book, because the second book centers on a relationship that I had with a married guy. And what I've discovered through him, because I believe that every experience that you have, it is designed to teach you and it's designed to grow you. That's what I was saying at the beginning of this video about my mom's friend who has this small aneurysm. I believe she's going to come through on the other side of it. I think this is just a teachable moment for her. It could have been a completely different scenario. It could have been a huge aneurysm. It could have killed her. You know what I'm saying? And so there would have been no teachable moment for her. It would have been a teachable moment for all of those that knew her or that know her, because we would have been here experiencing the grief and the residual effect of losing her. But because it's such a small aneurysm, I think this is just a teachable moment for her. Thank you, Wisdom. Thank you. So I think this is just going to be a teachable moment for her. And this is just for her to step back and say, okay, it's an opportunity for her to pay closer attention to her life. So the same thing I believe is true, like when you lose your job. It's an opportunity for you to step back and pay attention to your life. A divorce, a breakup, Everything that happens to you is designed to teach you something. But what happens is we often run to the grief and the agony and wondering, why is this happening to me? As opposed to running towards the lesson and trying to figure out why it's happening. You know what I'm saying? And what we're supposed to learn from it, not why it's happening, but what are we supposed to learn from it? So we lose time doing that, trying to agonize over why is it happening to me and you know. So I believe she'll get through this. But what I realized in writing this second book, although I was, thank you, Ashley, although I was involved with this married guy and I wanted to be with him and he said he wanted to be with me, that was all happening right here in the physical realm, right here on earth. But I think in the spiritual realm, up there in the spiritual realm, that relationship between me and this guy happened because God had another lesson for me. He had bigger lessons for me. And the only way for me to get those lessons was through that relationship with him. So had God not put those things in place, I would have never written this book because I would have never been able to see through his eyes. So I believe that that experience was not about me being with him as much as it was about me being able to write this story and speak to. She talking about she's sitting there eating fried chicken, feeling ashamed, but she ain't stopped eating that chicken though. This book gave me the opportunity to be able to speak to men who lived that very complicated life. Men who got married knowing they are gay. Men who got married knowing they enjoy having sex with a man and they know that they're being deceptive. Men who are not just who just aren't living their truth, right? So I realized in writing this book, and this is why I would have never, thank you, Crystal. The reason why I could not stay in a relationship with her or any other woman, and I really got to that as I was writing the second book, is because so many men get married to shield their truth. So many men get married to conceal their truth. They're trying to hide from you guys. They're trying to hide from their family. They're trying to hide from their coworkers. They're trying to hide behind the marriage. So they figure if I get married, nobody will really suspect that I'm gay or that I have affinities for men, because some people don't identify as gay. Same gender loving, let me put it that way. But the other thing that I realized writing that was some of these men get married because they really do think, they really do believe that if they're in a marriage, in a relationship with this woman, they may have subtle tendencies where they're attracted to men, but they believe that if they get into this marriage with this woman or this relationship with this woman, that they can quell those feelings for men. They think that they can suppress it, those feelings. But what I've discovered writing this book and just living and talking to men, because for some reason when I wrote this second one, it was like all these married men came out of the woodwork. They would be emailing me, finding me on social media, or they show up at a reading. And there were so many men who said to me, God, I want to buy these books, but I don't know where I would put it. Like they were afraid to own the books because they knew that if they were involved with the woman, she'd be like, well, what you doing with these books? Not to say that that's a telltale sign, but that was their mind. You know, fear has a way of convincing us that our fears are fact, right? So I had so many men who said to me, I thought that, you know, when I got married that I was bisexual and that I was my feelings for women were stronger. But as they got married and over time, the urge, the desire to be with a man intensified, right? And see, it goes back to the point that I was making before. Sexuality is instinctive. So for all of those years, they may have been suppressing those feelings. But, your truth always has to rise to the top. Your truth always has to come to the top. It's just like, here's a very generic example of that. You know how like when you get around your new coworkers, you just start a brand new job, and you coming in, you all demure, and you all, hey, good morning. Hi, everybody. Good morning. But after you there for 3 months, hey, how y'all doing? You get real relaxed because your true self always comes through. So you just have to be who you are. And so the same thing is the case with sexuality. So like some of these men may be able to hold up a charade for a period of time, but the longer you stay in this relationship with this woman, whether you're married or not, your truth is going to come up. Your sexual desires are going to show up, period. And so that was what happened with the guy that the character's name is Rocky. That's what happened with him. I shared with you guys before on one of these videos, but I know we got a lot of new people in here. I shared with them one night before this married man out of Tupelo, Mississippi. Married 25 years, 3 children in high school. But 10 of those 25 years, he was involved with a man. Can you imagine being with a bitch for 25 years and 10 of those years, they've been sleeping around with somebody else? Not 10 days, 10 of those years. He said to me, and I understood him. For the first time, I really felt some compassion for a man in that type of predicament. Even though he put himself in that predicament, because he could have chose differently. He didn't have to get married to that woman. If he knew he was uncertain about who he was, he did not have to marry her. Or he could have at least presented it to her and said, listen, I have proclivities. And he should have given her the opportunity to choose. Hey, Jackie Holman. But what he said to me, and I understood, was he could have left and gone with this man that he was with for 10 years, but he felt like he had already helped this wife build this life, right? He built this life. So he felt it was almost like a contract. He didn't say that. I'm just using those words to illustrate the point. So he felt like because he had already created this life with children, a house, 25 of her years, of her best years, he felt like it would have been selfish of him to walk away to be with a man, to break up his family. He said, I don't want to break up my family. He said, I don't want to devastate my family. So he was staying for that purpose. It's not always about deception. It's not always about cowardice. I'd be willing to bet that it's probably a small percentage. I would probably venture to say that the majority of the men that stay in these relationships want their cake and eat it too. But in his predicament, remember, he was from Tupelo, some little small town in Mississippi. So can you imagine the thought process and stuff about sexuality in a small town where everybody knows you, everybody knows your name? Coupled with the fact that he was a black man, probably grew up in a black church with all of this ideology and stuff that we're indoctrinated with, reaching back to slavery. And the reason that I was talking about religion and I question religion is because, remember, that religion, Christianity, it was given to us. That wasn't our religion. That was given to us. And the way that it was given to us, it was packaged in such a way that we were taught that we were supposed to be subservient to white people, that we were supposed to be slaves. So the language was manipulated to control us. So at one point, the Bible was used to control slaves, black people. Now you see the Bible being used by black people to control other black people in the black church. So that's why I challenge all of this stuff about religion and church. I don't question God and I don't question spirituality, ever. I question man. Because see, man is behind religion. Man is behind church. God is behind spirituality. So those are two different things. So I think that's all I have tonight. Oh, wait. LaShayla asked me a question. What did you ask me up here? Oh, no, I was attracted to her. That's the thing. I was attracted to girls, but I realized, and I try to, see, this is the thing about these books. I never set out to write a book, ever. I never set out to write. In my heart of hearts, I really believe that I was called by God to tell my story. I believe that he called me to share my story. And I believe that, let me choose my words. I believe that I have so many gay men that say, oh my God, thank you for telling our story. But then I also have a lot of women saying, oh my God, this is not a gay book. I see my girlfriends in these stories. This is me. This is my girlfriend, such and such. So, but my point is, when I sat down to write these books, it was my intention to speak to the hearts and minds of Black gay men. I understand now that God had a bigger plan for these books. See, you know how Oprah used to always say, if you're an Oprah fan and used to watch the Oprah Winfrey Show, God can dream a bigger dream for you than you can ever dream for yourself. Thank you, Tanika. Well, that's what I think would happen with these books. So my intention was to reach the hearts and minds and souls of Black gay men, because from my perspective, no one has really championed for Black gay men in this country. Dante, set them up, inbox me. We'll make it happen. I can ship them tomorrow. I don't believe that anyone has really championed for Black gay men in this country. Who cries for the little Black gay boy? I wrote a piece about that. It's somewhere out there on the internet. It's on my Facebook page, on my fan page, not my personal page that we're on right here, but it's on there. But who cries for the little Black gay boy? So when I sat down to write these books, I knew that God had called me to tell this story. Now, I believe that most Black gay men could have written these books, but I believe that God chose me because I would see the vision through. I was courageous enough about my sexuality. I wasn't afraid to speak out in interviews, radio, television about, there has to be a face. And unfortunately, it's not always popular to be Black and open and gay, right? But no, I was attracted to girls. But at some point, my wet dreams were no longer about girls. They were boys. They were about boys. But even after I discovered that, I was trying to suppress the feelings. I tried to ignore the fact that my attraction was changing. Because I was falling in line. Just like with the whole meat. I'm going to make the correlation. Just like with the whole meat thing. I've been eating meat all of my life because that's what I was told to do. So I was dating girls and feigning interest in women because that's what I was taught to do. Right? But then, I got really clear about who I was at my core. I got really clear about who I am at the fiber of my being. And I offer no apology. I offer no apology for who I am in terms of my sexuality. Speaking of sexual harassment, I had a woman that I used to work with. She was a supervisor. I ain't gonna tell you the company. I used to work for an internet company. This was many, many years ago. Like 2003, 2004. And when I tell you, it was a Black woman, and we were really cool. And she used to, and I'm only saying this because we were talking about this earlier. I'm not at all trying to toot my own horn, but beep, beep. But she used to be like, oh my God, boy, you were just so fine. And she would touch me, and she would rub her hand down my chest. And I'd be standing up, right? She would turn around, and this is me standing right here. And she would put her butt, and she'd be like, ooh, and she would put her butt up against my privacy. And she would do that. And then she'd be like, boy, I would fuck the hell out of you. She said, oh, I'll put this pussy on you. She used to say that shit to me in the break room. So thinking back to what we were just talking about a moment ago, that was sexual harassment. I probably could have sued the dog shit out of that company. But I really liked her. We were really cool. So again, where is the line? Where is the line? Because she definitely crossed the line. But I liked her, and we were cool, and it was comfortable. So Is it possible in some of these instances where perhaps a person just thinks that they can talk like that to you? You know what I'm saying? So that's that. Yes, wisdom. I completely agree. I completely agree. Thank you, Charlotte. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys supporting the books. I really, really do. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I have not shared this. I don't think I've shared this on here. I don't think I may have talked brief. And I realized that I'm over 2 hours. Exactly. She was a manager. She was definitely a manager. I could have sued the shit out of them. I'm over 2 hours, though. So this is the last story I'm going to tell. I've shared little pieces of it along the way. But again, there's some new people in here. I didn't feel violated. I just thought it was funny. I thought it was really funny. But my point is, and she wasn't even attractive, but she was funny. Like, I liked her. Like, she was a good person, you know. I took it as a compliment, if anything, right? And so, but my thing is, if I didn't like her as a person, I don't know how I would have felt about that. How do I add? I think you could just tag that name down in here, Tanika. I believe you can just tag them in there. Now, the podcast is free. The podcast is called So Much to Say, which is also the name of the new book that's coming out. But the new book is called So Much to Say, a book of quotes. The podcast is called So Much to Say. It's in iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Google Play. If you go to my website, craigthewriterstewart.com, and go to podcast, it'll take you to all of the places where you can listen to the podcast. Okay, so when I wrote these books, this is what I was saying. I thank you guys for supporting the books, those of you that have and those of you that plan to. I appreciate it because you really, truly do make it possible for me to do what I love, for me to do, like, I see it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when you get to a level where you're selling millions of books, it may be hard to realize that it's the individual people that afford you the luxury of doing what you love. But at this level where I am, I can see how every book counts, every book sale counts in my life, because I'm able to pay the utility bill, or I'm able to pay the water bill, or whatever. I buy a flight to go to the next city to do a signing. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate you listening to the podcast. So I can see it in dollars and cents, right? So I appreciate you guys doing that, because I can literally reach back 5 years. 5 years ago, I was writing this first book. And I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea how to get the book published, how I was going to be able to afford the printing costs, how I was going to get it to people that I didn't know, how I just had so many questions. And so I'm saying this to you, and this is why I want to do a podcast with Quamina about entrepreneurship. Because I'm sure there are many of you that are on your journey now, starting your own business, or those of you who want to start your own business, but you're almost paralyzed because you don't even know where to begin. You don't even know where to start, or you're afraid of failing, or you're afraid of failing in front of your friends and family and coworkers. Fuck that. You get one life. Go after it. And what I'll tell you is, a friend of mine said to me years ago, he said, you can never fail as long as you're following your passion. You can never fail as long as you're following your passion. And so 5 years ago, I was renting a place in LA. I moved to LA. Okay, tip in quietly, Maurice. I was living in LA because I was living in Atlanta prior to that, and I had lost everything. Bank account was overdrawn, $660. That story is in the book. This is what I'm not gonna give it all to you because it's in here. Bank account was overdrawn. Car was repossessed. They were putting eviction notices on the apartment that I was renting. And I didn't know what the fuck I was supposed to be doing. And I had written and produced a stage play that had sold out, but I was in this space where nothing was happening. And so I ended up moving to... Oh, Kwamina is how you started following me. Thank you, Naima. Thank you, LaShayla. Thank you, Carolyn. So I moved to LA because it was really just a whisper in my spirit. It was God speaking. I tell you all the time that I think your conscience, your instincts, that's God nudging you. And so it was, oh, you need to move to LA. And I was like, I ain't moving to no LA. Why would I move to LA and a bitch's bank account is overdrawn here in Atlanta? Like, that don't even make sense. Car was repossessed. Why would I move to LA? So I ignored that whisper. 3 months later, the same instinct. It was like a tugging in my spirit. It was like, you need to be in LA. Had no idea what that meant. Ended up moving to LA. I'm cutting through the story because it's in the book. I moved to LA. 3 months after I was in LA, I started writing this first book. And when I tell you, there were so many tears for many reasons. One, I was grateful to have survived all of the things, all of the obstacles, all of the setbacks that I had experienced when I was living in Atlanta before. But then I was also grateful for the gift to be able to use words, to be able to reach, teach, and heal people. It was something as I was sitting there writing, there was something in me that just knew that the books would find their way to people that I didn't know, right? Didn't know how it was going to happen. But I just felt in my gut, in my spirit. And I was like, this is why I moved to LA. This is what God was trying to do. This is what, so you just have to answer the call. There's always a call on your life. Always. And again, even everything that I was saying earlier about this detox, even if you never do any of this stuff that I talked about today, the fact that these seeds were planted today is not an accident. It is not an accident. Trust me. And so I'm living in LA. I'm writing this first book. And I realized after 3 months of being in LA, this is why you moved to LA, to write this book. So after I was finished writing the book, I made plans to come back to the East Coast. And it's really, truly been word of mouth. These books have sold themselves because of word of mouth and because of social media. And I believe, remember I talk about things happening in the physical realm right here on earth. Those things parallel what's happening in the spiritual realm. I believe that the books are selling themselves because I was obedient and I obeyed the call. I packed my shit and moved to LA because of a whisper, because of an instinct. And I think because I listened and wrote these books, I was disciplined. And same thing with the podcast. I tell you guys all the time, the podcast is free. I had no intention to start no damn podcast. Right. See, Dante heard about the book through social media. But again, I think that God put all of those things in place. Social media, word of mouth, all of these things because that's his way of rewarding. I believe that whatever energy you put out, it has to come back, just like a boomerang. And because I took the time and sat down and wrote these books, this is the energy that God is sending me back, letting me know it's happening. Take your time. It's happening. Slowly but surely. Same thing with the podcast. Like, I never had any intention of doing a podcast. I think 3 or 4 different people who don't know each other said to me, you should really do a podcast. I told you this, guys, the other day. And I was like, I ain't doing no podcast. What the fuck? I wrote books. I ain't writing or doing no podcast. But what ended up happening was I'm now reaching people in other countries that the books hadn't even reached. And now they want now they found out about the books. They find out about the books through the podcast or, whatever. So it's all like connecting the dots. So when I say to you guys all the time, you don't have to connect the dots to your dream. That's not your job. Your job is to do the work, whatever that is. Whatever that is, your job is to do that. Let God and the universe figure out how the dots will be connected, right? So on that note, have a great night. Have an amazing night. Write down 5 things that you are grateful for, either from today or yesterday or a combination of both. Write down 5 things that you're grateful for. Say your prayers. I say my prayers every night on my knees beside my bed. Even if I spend a night over at somebody's house, I get down on my knees and say my prayers. Even if I have somebody spend a night over here with me, I'm getting down on my knees and saying my prayers. Say your prayers. Brush your teeth. Floss your teeth. Do your little oil pulling with your coconut oil, just a teaspoon. Rinse it around for about 3-4 minutes. Spit it out. I also rinse with peroxide. And yeah, I think that's it. So look, I'm going to come on tomorrow at like 10 in the morning because I'm meeting with someone again about the event on December 7th, the launch party for the new book on December 7th. All are welcome. So if you're not in Atlanta and you plan to be in Atlanta, you can come. You're welcome to come. Just use the Eventbrite. If you pre-ordered your book, you don't have to do the Eventbrite. If you only pre-ordered one book, that only allows you to come in. You can't be bringing people with you. The people that you bring with you, they got to do the Eventbrite. Yes, and brush your tongue. If you haven't brushed your tongue, then you haven't really brushed your teeth. That's where the bacteria sits. That's where it lives. So, when you all up in people's face and talking and shit, and they trying to back up and you don't understand why, did you hit your tongue? Did you hit your tongue? And if you notice, when you brush your teeth at night and you brush your tongue, your breath isn't as hot in the morning. Did you notice that? Your breath is not as hot in the morning. Now, I don't know about y'all, but mine is not hot in the morning. That's it. But I'm going to come on at 10 o'clock tomorrow because I have a meeting about the event on December 7th. Okay, got you, Dante. So listen, somebody said they didn't realize that I was on. Hit the notifications. You'll know every time I go live. Hit the notifications. You'll know every time I go live. Have a good night. Bye.